Setting up. Does it say live streaming yet? Oh, yeah. Okay. We're all good to go. Okay, welcome everyone to the Cosmic Flow webinar. I just felt called to have this event because, oh my God, 2025 is such a year, and people who are familiar with me know I love talking about mundane astrology and how things show up for us. But I think it's also really important to us to keep in high focus. And I'm like working on this myself, the spirituality of how we can work through this energy and of a time of big changes, and it can feel very destabilizing. So that is my intention, to help people use the gift of astrology to stay somewhat grounded in a time of chaos. I'll sugarcoat it as much as I can, but this is just where we're at right now as a collective. And, depending on your approach, it's like our souls decided to incarnate at this time for some reason. We needed to go through these experiences, or it's our assignment, however you want, that our soul needed something, needed this education, however you want to look at it. Yes. Yes, Anna, things have been. 2020 was a reset for the whole world, where Saturn and Pluto met in the sign of Capricorn, the sign of governments and big business. Saturn is structures, Pluto obliterates them, and here we are. And every like about 35 years, they meet in a different place in the zodiac, and our lessons are related to that. Okay, so let me get started. Ashley is here and will be monitoring the chat for me. And I think that's it. And I'll make time at the end for questions as well. Let's see. Let me share my screen. Okay. Do you see Cosmic Flow? Wait, did I share the right screen? Let me stop and try again. I want to share this screen. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Make sure. Okay. Here we go. So today we're going to talk about navigating the North Node in Pisces and the South Node in Virgo. And I'm calling it Cosmic Flow. This is me for anyone who's new to me. Excuse me. I think some of the key points are that I'm an astrologer, coach, and intuitive, and I do chart rectification. So if you don't know your exact birth time, or you have a friend who would love to use astrology but doesn't have their birth time, I help people back calculate from events in their lives. I teach for organizations internationally and speak. I'm a board member for the Organization of Professional Astrology, as well as on the faculty of Kepler College. I teach transits for Kepler. I'm a Taurus Sun, Aries Moon, and Cancer Rising. And before becoming an astrologer, I spent over 20 years in corporate, 28 to be exact. Okay. So I always like to start with a quote, and instead of focusing on the circumstances that you can't change, focus strongly and powerfully on the circumstances you can, by Joy Page. And this is a good thing to keep reminding ourselves. We do have agency, but okay, something we don't like, what are we going to do within our power to make change? So for the agenda, I'm going to start with just like a high level of 2025, then get into the lunar nodes, the zodiac signs of Pisces and Virgo, where they're transiting, guidance for each sign. My class Astrology Foundations starts on the 27th, so I'll give you a brief overview of that, as well as some bonuses for people who want to join. And then I will do hot takes on participants' charts, as many as I can do. Okay. So one thing about, so we start 2025 dancing in reverse, backwards, bumping into walls and what have you with Mars retrograde. Mars, the planet of action, drive, and assertion at the beginning of the year. It was retrograde in the sign of Leo, and then boom, opposite Pluto. And that's like really intense energy because Pluto has a mass influence and it rules things like catastrophes and like huge breakdowns. It can help with healing, but and examining our shadows, it's a really powerful energy that has a lot of positivity to it, but it can feel traumatic. And we had fires in LA. For the US, we had a bunch of assassination attempts. There's far right parties rising in all over the world, and it has been very destabilizing for the collective because it's like you're trying to take action and it's really difficult. So Mars goes direct February 23rd, and that will start helping us feel like we have a little like finding our way forward without all of these retrogrades bring delays, restrictions, the collapse of something contemplated, disagreements, arguments. Now, they're a great time to go within and examine how we take actions or how we do the planet, but they can be they're a gift, but they can be a little difficult going through, especially for such a solar-based go 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 society as we have in the United States and a lot of Western countries. Next up, we're going to have a Venus retrograde that's going to impact our relationships, our money, and all that kind of stuff. And then a Mercury retrograde, communication, transportation, and commerce. So there is just a lot of this energy that's herky-jerky, and the year doesn't really get started until April, I say, like with some of the smoother flowing energy, and then it goes kind of bananas. So this year we started in January 11th. We had the nodes switch from 0 degrees of Aries, boop, back to 29 Pisces. The nodes move backwards. So I'll talk more about that, but this is the big picture that the nodes rule like what we're collectively called to do in our own chart. They have another meaning. They have the meaning more personally, but they keep moving through the sky. And collectively, we are it. The axis they're on is what's in focus in our lives. We're going to have the first lunar eclipse, March 14th. So just be aware that's a big date and time for awareness. Eclipses, lunar eclipses bring awareness, and it's an emotional. We usually act out of emotions or feel things big in lunar eclipse, and then boom, there's a solar eclipse, this new start in the sign of Aries, a sign that rules independence, conflict, things like that. And then we have four outer planets changing signs, which is very unusual within a period of a couple of months. So there's these big, fast changes. And Neptune, the planet of illusions, delusions, and you can take a picture of this. You'll get the recording and you can watch it back, but you can take a picture of this slide if you want. And what I have over here is the chart for the USA, and I just wanted to point out that the midheaven, the most public part of the chart, it rules the executive branch and specifically the midheaven point. The 10th house rules the executive branch, and the midheaven point rules the president of a country or the prime minister or whatever. And the IC rules the opposition party or rebels as well as land. And because we, in the US, it's 1 degree, so planets change signs, and we'll see it events related to the country that come in pretty quickly. And the dates are here. I don't want to belabor this point. I just wanted to make the point that there's this big changing energy of Neptune, which dissolves and spreads things quickly in the sign of Aries, like this new initiation. And I've got an image of a bubble popping, like Neptune has been illusions, delusions, confusion in the sign that it loves, and very easy to do its thing. And then what's going to come to our awareness March 30th, that boom, takes that bubble and pops it in some way. And then Saturn, the planet of structures, enters Aries, where it does not like to be. It's a sign of its fall, where people can feel like, oh my God, our leaders, what are they doing? We don't like it. Or there's not the authority. You call 911 and there's delays. Saturn rules delays. You're on hold for an hour. These are the sorts of things with Saturn and Aries. The draft is a Saturn and Aries topic. So that's kind of difficult energy. But then Jupiter moves into the sign of its exaltation, which is nice energy. Jupiter is the benefic. So June 9th, we may get some kind of breath or emotional feelings of well-being or some way. And then, well, let's hope. It could also be how the mighty have fallen, I wrote down, because it squares Saturn as soon as that happens. And then July 7th, Uranus enters Gemini. So what are we going to be seeing in terms of some kind of scientific invention or unexpected upheaval or things like that? So it's just a lot for the human mind to be able to handle. And these are just keywords for the outer planets. You can just take a picture. I'm not going to go through it, but these are some of the things we're going to see in the nature of the signs that I discussed that are coming fast and furious. So that's the big picture. We're in a time of a lot of change, but we start the year with these retrogrades. And I'm saying that I should have said the triple retrograde of Mars, Venus, and Mercury really invite us to reevaluate, reimagine, rethink how our thought processes, our values, our belief systems, our actions related to the signs they rule, as individuals and members of a global community, but especially Aries and Pisces. This is why I said just Aries and Pisces, because Venus is in Aries now. Mercury will join in Aries, and then they're both going to go retrograde. And Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, which is about I. And Pisces, when it goes back into Pisces, Pisces has this like, we are all one unit kind of thing. So it's like, we feel like it's us and everyone kind of energy. It's fire, it's inspired, and then it's also, that's Aries, and then it's also emotional and feeling, that's Pisces. And these retrogrades are a gift for us to prepare for the massive shifts that are upcoming, where Neptune, Saturn, and Uranus move into yang signs. That's yang signs push the energy out. So it's going to get louder. So this is why it's so important to use this time to prepare. So I hope that's helpful to give some context. It's like a year like no other that we've seen, and some astrologers have looked way, way, way back, and it's like three outer planets changing signs in the same year, let alone a few months, is really unusual, if not unheard of. So let me just, is there anything in the chat I should address, Ashley, or no?
No, there are no comments in
Oh.
regards to your presentation.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. So yeah, you can put comments in. I'll read them later as well. Like which of the planetary changes are you most looking forward to or anticipating or nervous about or whatever. Yeah, but I don't think we need to be nervous. I think we just need awareness. So the lunar nodes, what are they? They're called the knot, and they're points, not physical bodies like planets, and they're where the moon's orbit intersects the ecliptic to the north node, and the south node. The ecliptic is the sun's apparent, if we're standing on Earth, it's the sun's apparent path around the Earth. Now we know we move around the sun, but the ecliptic is this imaginary line. And the nodes where the moon's orbit around the Earth and the sun's theoretical one, like, meet. They travel backwards approximately 3 minutes a day, and they change signs every 18 months, and they return every to where they were every a little over 18 years. So what this means is they travel backwards. So there's this energy of being pulled in an uncomfortable way. That makes us pay attention because we like to go forward. They're always going back and they wobble. But anyway, just think about it. They move backwards through the zodiac. And by transit, they're always on an axis. What the axis is where they're two signs that are 180 degrees away from each other. They have things in common, but it's a tension because oppositions are as far away as they can be from each other, but they have a relationship because you can see each other eye to eye, like Aries, I am. Libra, I partner. These are two signs that are 180 degrees apart. How I take actions for myself versus how I am in partnership or my partners take action. So it's an axis that has this similarity. They're both yang signs, and they're both cardinal signs. So they have the mode and the polarity, mode, cardinal, fixed or mutable, polarity, yin or yang, in common. Yeah. But by transit, they're the collective focus. And from July of 2025 until January 11th of this year, the North Node was in the sign of Aries, and the North Node is an amplifier, and Aries rules conflict, and we've seen so much conflict around the world. Also, fires, heat, some of the hottest days, fires all over the place. And the South Node has been in the sign of Libra. The South Node kind of scoops things out, and it's a little bit of a drain. And diplomacy was so hard to come by. Relationships, like almost everybody I know had like some kind of upheaval and some kind of relationship throughout depending on their chart. Yeah. And when the sun crosses the nodes, that's the trigger for eclipse seasons. And eclipses are times of change where we walk through a door, we turn around, there's a wall. They open a 6-month cycle where you can cast the chart for the eclipse, and that's what's coming up the stories over the next 6 months. They can be used for forecasting. So I like to call it the axis of evolutionary growth. So in our own chart, we're all born with the nodes in particular signs, and the South Node is what's comfortable. It's like you can just get in your South Node and nestle. It's like a lazy chair that is a lazy boy chair. I might be dating myself. I don't know if they have it anymore, but it was like these custom deluxe seat rockers that are really comfortable. You can put your legs up, you can have a drink cup, you can massage your back, you can do whatever you want with it to make yourself more and more comfortable. That's like the South Node. It holds our habits, our talents, our memories. It speaks a lot to how we were raised. Evolutionary astrologers see it as our past lives, the story we're coming into. It has a lot to do with our families and what was by sign and by house, what we learned in our families. Um, Now, it can be a point of self-undoing because it's like it's that default, it's so comfortable. We tend to sometimes nestle in like the shadow, every sign has shadows and light. And depending on our chart, like those shadows can be peaking up. It also has to do with decrease when you have a something coming to your South Node. It's a great time to, like, say the South Node's coming to your Venus. Great time to give to charity or something like that, rather than be all about what you want to take. Yeah, or helping someone. That's how you can manage these transits best, because it's the South Node like kind of scoops things out. And it also can be a drain, a cosmic toilet bowl is sometimes how it's described. And yeah, so where your South Node is, you tend to be comfortable with that energy. Well, tend to be. Pretty much everyone is comfortable with that energy, unless yeah, unless they're not aware. Ah. And then the North Node is the uncomfortable stretch. It's where you're going. So it's as far away as it can be from that South Node, but leaning into it can really be helpful for you. It's called it's our dharma, whereas South Node is our karma. We come in with the South Node, our karma. We work towards the North Node, our dharma. It's uncomfortable, it's spiritual growth, gain, and success. The nodes have to do with groups as well. Increase. Now, it can be about greed too. Like sometimes people with their North Node conjunct Mars is one of the things where these people can be like, oh, or Pluto, super focused on achievement and go, 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 which can lead to a lot of success or uh, breaking things. Yeah, it's an amplifier. So those are the nodes. Whoop, what happened? Okay, well, here goes Mercury Kazemi. We just have to refresh. Oh, I like to talk. Okay, let me speed it up. Okay, let's try this again. Hopefully my screen will comply. Okay, there we go. So the two signs, the North Node, what it did was it moved from the fire sign of Aries backwards into Pisces. And this is one of the most destabilizing transitions, in my opinion, because Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It's fire. It pushes the energy out. It's cardinal. It's initiating energy. And then it moved back into Pisces, the last sign of the zodiac. It's water. It's mutable, diffuse energy. It's emotional. It's internal. Now, we saw this with our eyes on the world stage, moving from with the LA fires. The, we saw, LA was on fire. Then we saw like people coming in and literally planes flying in and dropping water on the fires. And that was the talk. And we were talking about Piscean themes. Pisces rules people who feel like they don't have a lot of, they're in difficult, really difficult situations, like potentially being homeless or a refugee in some way. And like Aries is the soldier or the firefighter or the person who, the ER doctor, the person who runs into the burning building to help people. So we were seeing these two images like simultaneously with our eyes, and that's how we saw. And Pisces is like chaos kind of energy where things can feel like they've all fallen apart. It also is a very spiritual sign. It rules things like music and creativity, and it's intuition, like and connecting with the spiritual realm through processes of meditation and things like that. It's our belief systems. It rules peace. It also rules escapism. So drugs and alcohol and all of that kind of stuff. It also rules charity. So people were being, getting together their things to donate to charity when, I mean, it was incredible with the fires. People like from all over the country and in fact the world, our neighbors, Canada and Mexico sent help to help LA combat these fires. It rules prisons, hospitals, and I think I got them all. It's a water sign. It also rules deception, like three-card Monty. Pisces is ruled by Jupiter traditionally and Neptune in modern astrology. And it is Neptune is the planet of illusions and delusions and confusion. And when the North Node moved back to Pisces, it immediately started connecting with Neptune. And it had the exact connection this week on Thursday, I believe, where North Node and amplifier, Neptune, the planet of illusions and confusion and delusions, came together. So people are just like thinking, what is happening? What could be going on with what we're seeing with the US? Yeah. And now here are some key words about Pisces. Every sign has an I sign. Pisces is I believe, it's mutable water, and it's the natural ruler of the 12th house of where we go to have solitude and places we'd rather not be, secret enemies, as well as self-undoing and escapism are 12th house topics. Mhm. But it also is like retreating, taking a step behind the scenes. So High Road Pisces is such a beautiful sign. It's so compassionate and sensitive and spiritual and intuitive and empathetic. Now, some of the more difficult or lower road energies can be just overly sensitive, like not able to handle any kind of change or disappointment or criticism or anything. It can be masochistic, like martyr energy, like come off the cross is something you would say to someone who's on the shadow side of Pisces. Yeah, poor boundaries. Every person with lots of Pisces energy has a story at some time where they have to work on protecting their boundaries or not being too enmeshed with others. It's just part of the nature of that karmic journey. And people with strong Pisces energy really need some time alone so they can separate them what they're feeling from what other people's feelings are. Yeah. Now, delusions and dishonesty can be shadows as well, or instability, emotional instability. Now, Virgo,
Celeste,
yeah.
before you move on, can you clarify why the nodes are kind of always in retrograde and how the nodes being in retrograde are not as significant as other planets in retrograde?
Ah, yeah. Well, it's just the nature of them astronomically. They move backwards through the zodiac. So we move from Aries to Pisces to Aquarius to whatever's before Aquarius, Capricorn. Yeah. And we like to be in forward motion, but it's just the nature of it. I would need an astronomer to explain why. But yeah, and it's different than a retrograde of a planet. Yeah. That's just their nature. They move backwards, whereas everything else for the moves forward. So it's not, they don't cause the same things because it's always their motion. I hope that explained it.
I think it did. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Is my slide. Okay. Okay. So I feel like when they change signs, it's a little more like we feel it more because they go backwards rather than go in the natural flow, which we like of forwards. And Aries to Pisces is a big deal because zero Aries is a world point with high visibility. And yeah, we know in the US, we have a new administration. They're doing all sorts of things that are confusing people. People are feeling like, what is going on in the US? A lot of people. Yeah. Now, Virgo, this is where the South Node is. And I think it's so important for us to remember not just where the North Node is, because I mean, I naturally kind of like, oh, the North Node is going through this house. This is where I'm going to have gains and blah, and should put up my energy. But we cannot forget where the South Node is because that's digging up stuff. And especially for people who have the nodes, they're like say your north node's in Pisces and your south node is in Virgo in your natal chart, you are having what's called a nodal return right now, which means that the collective is in some way going through the your process of, and I have this, I have my south node in Virgo and north node in Pisces, your process of this feeling of these two energies, one being comfortable, Virgo, Pisces being the uncomfortable stretch. And for people whose north node is in Virgo and their south node in Pisces, it's completely flipped. So they get a chance to like see a mirror of, oh, is this what it's like when I do this? Like maybe someone with a south node in Pisces, now the north node's there. Oh, this is why when I do whatever, it's uncomfortable for blah blah blah. Like say someone with a Pisces north node is just too like never likes to be alone, is always expecting their partner to do stuff with them and da 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 da. They may get some kind of lesson related to that lack of boundaries with the nodal reversal. Or Gemini and Sagittarius, either side, you would be in a square with, because they're immutable energies. So you may be at some kind of crossroads that comes up when the nodes are squaring your natal nodes, where you're making choices related to, do I Pisces it or do I Virgo it? And the question comes up, you should Pisces it because that's where the North Node is. But there always needs to be a little bit of a balance. But anyway, Virgo is mutable earth. It rules things like health, workers, like the run-of-the-mill, the people who actually do the work. And it rules also the intestines. Oh, Pisces rules the feet. I was like, why do I have those babies' feet on the other side? Pisces rules the feet. It also has to do with like mucousy, like diseases like that weaken the immune system. Yeah. And so yeah, Virgo is the workers in a corporation. It also rules accountability, unions. It's precise and analytical, wants to calculate things. Yeah. Virgo is the priestess energy as well. So someone who can, ooh, just come up with the right ingredients for to help you heal or what have you. It has to do with single ladies. Virgo, the virgins and Vestal virgins, the people who take care of us, healthcare workers, our small pets, bees, right? I have a friend who's a beekeeper, and she says that a lot of the bees, people in the community, their colonies are, some of them have them dying or having problems and all kinds of stuff. We know bird flu is becoming a big issue. So this is the Pisces Virgo axis. We have a lack of eggs because and eggs are like a Virgo thing, a staple that we expect to have in our daily routine and ritual. I eat eggs almost every day for breakfast, but now their prices are going up and up and up, or they're harder to find. And the reason is the amplification. So there's a lack of eggs because an amplification of the bird flu, this illness that is um, impacting the flocks. And now it's in cows and all kinds of things. I mean, it's just a mess. We're also not getting the statistics and the information in the US from the CDC, our health organizations, because they've been told they can't communicate with people anymore. So there's a lack of awareness and confusion, North Node and Pisces, about some of these, the actual numbers or what have you. I mean, there's schools around the country that are closing down because of too many students having the flu, things like that. There's all kinds of talk about, should we be, Pisces rules medications and drugs? Should we be vaccinating and da 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 and this and that? Because, oh, it's South Node in Virgo, what are the side effects? These are the conversations in the collective that, and that's going to come up this week with Kennedy for his whatever you call it, confirmation. Virgo also rules the intestines, like the norovirus has been at the beginning of the year was a big topic again and whatnot. Okay.
Anna wants to know why Virgo is my auntie is my bestie.
Oh, so like your auntie could be like I get the image of the single lady, the childless cat lady auntie archetype, who doesn't have her own kids, so but dotes on her nieces and nephews. So that's where I'm getting that from, auntie.
Nice. Thank you.
Of course. No, This is Mercury Kazemi. I'm just giving it to. My slides don't want to. Move like they're supposed to. There's this delay. So today, Mars retrogrades delay, and it's trine Saturn, Saturn delays. So we'll see what the Super Bowl, I think we'll see. I don't even want to go there because I think it could be a lot of big stuff today later. But anyway, there's a lot of fog in Louisiana or something. So and they're both in water signs, and the North Node is conjunct Neptune. So Neptune is the fog, and we literally have dense fog over New Orleans, where the Super Bowl is supposed to happen today. So anyway, Virgo, this is a tangent. Lara is my tangent tracker. Virgo is detail-oriented, thorough, service-oriented, careful, health conscious, practical, and orderly. So and this is the South Node in Virgo. All of these workers being locked out of their buildings and stuff in the US, your job's gone. What do you mean? You got 3 hours to pack up, kind of. We've been seeing this kind of stuff. It's so literal. Astrology is so literal. Yeah, so these are like kind of high road energies of Virgo. Now, some of the lower road is like perfectionist to a detriment, where you're constantly, it's mutable, constantly trying to just make it, you're detail oriented. Oh, and you see a flaw, so let's make it better. But keep going, 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 going till it becomes a problem where it can lead to anxiousness or obsessive compulsiveness of constantly trying to make it better, going back home to see if the again and again and again to see if the stove's off or whatever, being so precise that one is overly critical or bitter or cynical. Controlling can be a South Node in Virgo, or shadow Virgo, or really fussy. It has to be just a certain way, or narrow-minded, like a little judgy. Okay. So big picture things that we may be seeing, because this from January of this year till July of 2026, because the nodes are on the axis of mental and physical well-being. I see Pisces more as our mental well-being, but they both are mental well-being, and Virgo physical. They're both mental and physical well-being. Yeah. So magnum opus, the North Node is conjunct Neptune. Neptune is the ultimate manifester. It's the planet of imagination. You gotta imagine it to make it happen. So if there are going to be people making the best movies they ever made, computer programs, whatever, writing their masterpieces, music that is just takes us to another realm. There's going to be so much creativity coming out of this energy where people are launching something that's their big thing. You can make your dreams a reality with this energy. Yeah, because Pisces can be like you're moving with trust and intuition forward. Faith, Pisces over fear. That Virgo imagining all the worst possible scenarios. Trusting the process, Pisces. Question all, believe nothing is what we're going to be. There's going to be conspiracy theories about everything. And I've been posting some stuff, and I'll put what it could be. There may be stuff related to weather that happens today, but there all these theories about something else nefarious going on that could be, yeah. Mental overwhelm, confusion, and illusions abound. This is why we need to remind ourselves and all have a mantra. Now, difficulty accessing staples, farmland problems. We're already seeing all of this, and it's February. So, pixie dust. Oh, I'm just going in and finding waste and da 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 da. But then leaking information that is meant to make people feel a certain way, but is it really real? And demanding accountability, that we're just doing all this government makeover for accountability. Yeah, that's, this is what is a big story in the news in the US right now. Now, there's also the amplification of religion, spirituality, and charity. So, how can you find your spiritual groups or spiritual people that, are like-minded and can help you with seeing the bigger picture? Reimagining of hospitals or prisons. Now, when I wrote that, I wasn't thinking that our president was going to send Americans to El Salvador or migrants to El Salvador, but here we are. That's probably never going to happen, but that's kind of been put out there in the collective. Oceans, clean water, storms and oil issues. Oceans, there was a tsunami warning yesterday for the Caribbean. Yeah, we're talking about the EPA going away or something in the US. That's the Environmental Protection Agency. Now,
Um,
poverty,
Sorry,
crime.
Celeste.
Yes,
Someone was wondering if you have any insights on how this might affect finances and the economy.
Virgo is a sign of limited finances. There are a lot of things happening now that suggest there could be financial contraction of markets. Number one, the Jupiter-Saturn square. We've had two, and there's one more coming. And we already had, and Uranus is in Taurus. This week, we may see some financial upheaval because there's a full moon in Leo squaring Uranus. And Taurus rules resources, money, banks, that sort of thing. And Uranus is like sudden upheaval. Yeah, just like a week or so ago, we had the deep seek as Uranus was stationing direct, where the financial markets took a huge tumble because came out of nowhere when China launched at least part of the segment, the tech markets. China launched a new product, AI product. So yeah, the markets could likely, I know financial astrologers have predicted them going down at the beginning of the year, but then Jupiter goes into the sign of Cancer, and maybe that's when they start rising again. We'll see. But it goes in squared Saturn, so that's just classic for some contraction because Jupiter expands and rules wealth, and Saturn contracts. They're opposite principles. Okay, I hope that answers that. But yeah, like Pisces, we're seeing more Pisces things like homelessness. I mean, these fires in LA. There's, we had a preview last year. There was a lunar eclipse in Pisces, even though the nodes had not switched with Hurricane Katrina, not Katrina, Hurricane Helene, Hurricane Milton. All over the world, we're having storms. And Greece right now, they're evacuating. People are leaving their homes because there's so many earthquakes in Santorini, I think it is. Yeah. Now, hopefully there'll be positive things about drug addiction or mental health and things like that. New ways to treat things potentially. Okay, now let's go through the signs. So if you're an Aries sun or rising, the North Node, this is the North Node. It looks like a horseshoe, and this is the South Node, which looks like the upside down horseshoe. Now, I've just made notes, and these are for me to help me. This is the retrograde where Venus and Mercury are going retrograde from Aries to Pisces. Saturn and Neptune are moving into Aries. Uranus is moving into Gemini, and Jupiter is moving into Cancer. So you can take a snapshot to know which houses. There'll be some emphasis for you. But okay, so for Aries, the North Node's in the 12th house, the South Node's in the 6th house. So spirituality, surrender, and the subconscious or 12th house topics. Daily routines, health, and service are 6th house topics. Now, I'm not going to read all the slides, but I'm giving you some of the highlights. You know, you can take a picture, come back and read it. But here's some of the guidance for the divine 12th house versus the grind, the daily work we do 6th house. Release some of your focus on, like, sometimes Aries can be really no matter what your state is, there's releasing some of your focus on discipline. If you're someone who's overly disciplined or committed to your daily routines, because they're going to be changing. Now is the time for your soul's journey to let go of structure and embrace more trust and mysticism and faith. And this can be hard for Aries because Aries is a cardinal initiating sign that is very independent and just wants to go, go, go. So it can cause anxiety, feeling constantly thwarted when you're trying to do someone. Right now, Mars, which rules Aries, is retrograde. And there's like, I can see an Aries person like blowing their top. They go to the store, they want their favorite smoothie. It's out of stock because, I don't know, the truck company's on strike, and then it's not there, and then they have a meltdown because they're feeling like the order in their life is dissolving, and they can't take the agency they're used to having to make things happen. And so retreat, take time to meditate, go within can be really helpful for Aries. And really, it's important to take care of your health this year. Maybe consider a retreat just for you, where you go somewhere and sit in the woods and really examine yourself. Plan downtime from work. It's really when so what's going to happen is the eclipses are going to be, the Virgo and Pisces eclipses are in your 6th house, which is things that go wrong with your health too. And the 12th house, which can have to do with self-undoing or taking time away. There are new starts in those areas, so it's a good time just to get a full health checkup in case anything's going on. A mantra: I release my need for constant productivity and trust in the divine flow of life. Journal prompts: where do I overwork or obsess about productivity? And how can I incorporate more surrender and spirituality into my daily life? For Taurus, this is the nodes are in and you can look at your sun and rising, the expression axis. The 11th house, where the North Node is about the collective, the group, the audience. The South Node, the 5th house, is the spark. The 5th house rules our self-expression. So you may be called to broaden your social connections, and that may leave less time for you to like do your hobby that you do alone, like play the crossword puzzle or whatever. So you can think about how can you connect with groups and friends where you can express yourself, where you can scoop out that 5th house and express yourself more freely. Can you spend time with people, assuming, health is a big focus this year. So we want to make sure we stay healthy and do what we can to avoid getting these flus and whatever else is coming down the pike. So keep that in mind. But can you spend more time with people, either on Zoom if it's not safe, or in person. Yeah. And you can think about how you've been so cautious if you're single or if you're in a relationship in creativity, romance, and self-expression. Like if you're in a partnership, like leave your partner love notes or something like that, or do something where you're more freely expressing, less critical or holding back of how you express your love. Or you can change your life with a smile and hello. Scoop out that hello from the fifth house while you're out with friends at an event and you see someone who you looks good and you want to know more about, and talk to them. Here is your mantra. I let go of the need for perfection and allow my creativity to flow freely. You can think about how do I hold back my creative expression out of fear of imperfection or rejection. For Gemini, the North Node is in your 10th house and the South Node is in your 4th house. The 4th and the 10th, the 1st and the 7th house are the angular houses. They're the seats of power. So your life, things are likely going to be you may already feel the speed up with Jupiter, the planet of expansion, in your sign. You probably, since last May, have been getting opportunities or expansion of something, hopefully good things. Jupiter expands whatever it touches, so it's important for you to think about how can you think positively and yeah, take actions that have some meaning and whatnot. But this is the crown, the 10th house, and the hearth, the 1st house. I mean the 4th house, excuse me. The crown, the 10th house, your ambitions and public persona. The 4th house, your foundation and private world. You can think about it's a great time to focus your attention on the outer world. How are you going to make an impact? Do you want to show leadership? Maybe you've been spending a lot of time or like stuff is going to come up around. I just had this with Aries and Libra and had no idea that so much was going to come up about childhood healing that needed to happen for me. And lots of family stuff came up. So you may have a lot of family stuff come up for you, for your highest good. And your mantra, I trust that my purpose will unfold when I surrender to my higher calling. So think about how you were raised. Does it hold you back? Do you not have faith that you can do like maybe you had a parent that told you you couldn't do this, you couldn't do that, or teachers or what have you. But can you have the faith that you can rise above those critical messages maybe you got when you were young to achieve what you want to achieve and go for your dreams? And yeah, you can think about how do you seek control in your private life. That Virgo South Node, the Virgo in your 4th house is very orderly. Think about how fears hold you back. For Cancer, the axis, the 9th house is where the North Node is. The 3rd house is where the South Node is. The 9th house is the horizon. It's far away. The 3rd house is the familiar, our community, our siblings, what's comfortable to us. The 9th house is like going on a trip around the world or going to college or something like that. So we can think about higher wisdom in different and distant journeys with the 9th house, and the journeys can be mental as well as physical. And the 3rd house, the thought processes, the familiar communication. And you focused on logic, facts, and clear communication. But now your journey is about embracing intuition, wisdom, and the vast unknown. And Yeah, this is where I have my nodes natally, and this is just so on point for what I'm working on now. And shifting from needing detailed access, like what the hell is Elon Musk doing in the Treasury Department, and like freaking out and coming up with stuff in my head about that, to trusting divine timing and higher knowledge. But I can use my voice to call my senators, call my congress people, get out on the streets, protest, whatever I want to do around that sort of thing. Yeah. You can deepen study of spiritual practices. My mantra this year is I am going to have my faith be stronger than my fear. Oh, Candace, you're writing on my slide. How do you do that? Uh, and explore different belief systems through art, travel, and literature. Let me see if I can erase that. Ooh. Okay. Here we go again with these. This is so strange how the apologies, how the slides aren't advancing. Okay. So a mantra is I release my need for certainty, because I can tell you with the South Node and Virgo in the third house, there are issues with wanting to know all the details so that I can figure out how to do things and da 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 da. And this is something I've been working on for decades, releasing that need to perfect everything or know exactly how things are going to come up. Yeah. Releasing your need for certainty and embracing the mystery of life. Journal part. In what ways do I overanalyze instead of trusting my intuition? When I learned about my nodes and started trusting, oh my God, it made such great changes in my life. I was still in corporate. I had the most successful year ever. It was so incredible. For Leos, the nodes are on your wealth axis. North node in the 8th, south node in the 2nd. Shared resources, transformation, and deeper bonds are 8th house topics. Personal assets, values, and self-worth are 2nd house topics. There's going to be a lot for you about what you value and what you expect from other people and how you expect them to contribute to you. And 8th house is like our shadow energies. So you can come a lot of things may be coming up, or if you have a partner, the 8th house is their 2nd house of their values. So you may be like kind of focused on, or things could happen that it's like amplifying your partner's values, or just maybe they get a raise and they're getting more money, could be something that comes up, or you have a taxes or 8th house too, so things like that. So you've relied on practical skills and self-sufficiency if you have Virgo on the 2nd house potentially. But now you're learning to trust in unseen forces of transformation. Like all sorts of stuff are going to be coming to your awareness about how you try to control things, or how your self-esteem is tied to what you think other people are thinking and things like that. But like for finances, maybe you need a financial advisor to help you with managing debt or taxes. Or if couples or personal therapy can help you with the North Node in the 8th house. Great time for therapy to illuminate shadows for healing. And the 2nd house, the gold, because it's it's your personal income. Mantra, I surrender to the flow of abundance and trust in unseen support of the universe. but I manage my finances responsibly. The prompt is, where do I struggle for control around money and security? Or how can I embrace trust and emotional surrender instead of rigid planning? Okay. For Virgos, okay, so Virgo, and this is in the South Node is in your first house. And the first house is the house of vitality. It's the house of the mask, how other people see you. It has to do a lot with how you are raised. If you're a Virgo rising, that's what you are if the South Node is in your first house. And we're looking at this from a whole house perspective. Maybe you were mommy's little helper. For whatever reason, you were taught to be of service and to help others and to always focus on the other in some way. We're calling this axis the mirror, seventh house, the seventh house that people we engage with in relationships, best friends, spouses, that sort of thing. Versus ourself, the mask we wear, how we connect with others versus who we are. Whenever the South Node is going through your first house of vitality, it's scooping things up. It's important to be extra mindful of your health, not overexhausting yourself, doing whatever you can to protect yourself from all these flus and whatnot. Yeah, so just keep that in mind. Now, you may have spent lifetimes or this lifetime defining yourself through perfection, control, and self-improvement. A lot of Virgos are, always, looking at the labels, careful about what ingredients, making sure they're doing organic or this, that, and the other thing. But now is the time to dissolve rigid definitions of yourself. If you overwork, which can be a Virgo shadow, to yourself to exhaustion, it's time to stop it because it could lead to, now I'm in bed for a week because I exhausted myself. Yeah, so, and can you learn to trust and love without analyzing every detail? So the more you can learn to trust, assuming your partner is trustworthy, the better you'll be. So cultivate relationships if you're single with people who are a soft place to fall. Allow reciprocity. You don't always have to be the one who's serving. So this is a big time for Virgos, Pisces, Gemini, Sagittarius, those who have mutable signs angular. Mantra, I release the need to control how I'm perceived. That is a big one. How I look does not define my worth, excuse me. I embrace love, connection, and intuition. And you can think about, how do I criticize or overanalyze myself or your partner in relationships? So for Libra, so this is the opposite of Aries. You're flipped. But you're still on the same axis, but it's the North Node is in the house of the grind and the South Node the divine. So daily routines, it's the same keywords, but can you shift from rigid routines into a more intuitive approach? It's a great time to recognize and tame self-undoing. The South Node is in your 12th house of self-undoing, so things will come up to your conscious attention. Maybe it's about being so helpful to your partner, you're trying to control. That could be something that comes up. And can you bring a spiritual practice to your daily life? The Pisces in the 6th house, like, can you bring in more trust? Can you prioritize routines and rituals like meditation, dream work, and surrender? Ooh, okay. For Libra, the mantra is, I trust in the rhythm of life and allow myself to rest, surrender, and flow with the universe. It is important to get a health checkup as well for Libras because the eclipse is going to be in your 6th house. When there are eclipses in your 1st or 6th house, the 1st house is vitality, the 6th house is things that go wrong with our health. It's just a good time to make sure we've got we know all our numbers about our blood pressure or this or that, the other thing, or sugar, blah, 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 because it can be a time where their health things can pop up. Doesn't mean it's going to be anything bad health-wise. It depends on your whole chart, but it's good to know. Astrology is a clock. Okay, the prompt. Where do I feel the need to micromanage my routines, health, or productivity could be coming up to your conscious attention? For Scorpio, the flip of Taurus, it's in the North Node is in your 5th house of creativity, fun, romance, children. Yeah, you can release the tendency to be overcritical, maybe in group settings, or hyper focused on what other people are doing or thinking, or and embrace creativity, romance, and self-expression without judgment. Dance like no one is watching. Embrace your hobbies. Autonomic writing can be a great way. Like Virgo has to do with information in some ways, and getting it out on the paper can be a spiritual practice that enlightens you. And embrace your inner child. The 5th house is a house of joy. Yeah. I find my greatest success and emotional peace not in controlling my public image. Like there can be this, I'm being secretive about what people in my group or social circle know because I'm trying to control my image, if that makes sense. And you can think about how much of your self-worth is rooted and tied to your achievements. For Sagittarius, the axis opposite of Gemini, the South Node is in your 10th house. So things in your public. So this is a time to be aware of, doing what's done in the dark could come to the light. You're slacking off at work. You could get caught, that sort of thing. You sneak out early. You thought nobody was going to notice. The South Node's up there. Everybody knows kind of stuff. So be aware. But it's a good time to step away from obsessing about career perfection if you are someone who does that, and societal expectations, and lean into emotional surrender or inner peace. Maybe you're spending more time at home. Maybe you're buying a new home, that sort of thing. Great time with Pisces down there to do ancestral healing, Akashic journeys, therapy, maybe if there's some childhood stuff you want to overcome, as well as maybe you want to do an ancestry project, but like putting launching like the business you think is going to take over the world may be more challenging. If you might want to wait till the South Node is not in your 10th house. Yeah, not that it can't be done, but it may the difficulties may be more public. And you can think about, sorry, I think I put Scorpio. I messed up the prompt for the other Scorpio. Sorry, I'll fix it. How much of my self-worth is tied to my achievement? This is Sagittarius. Scorpio should have been something related to the group. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You get the picture. Okay, Capricorn, the 3rd and the 9th house. This is the familiar road, is where the North Node is. So maybe spending more time in your local community in order to meet new people. Say maybe you're very work focused and there's a lot of travel stuff going on. These are some of the things another thing I'm recommending for people this year, to have travel insurance, no matter where you are going, so that if the trip is interrupted by system breakdowns, by, whatever, you can get your money back. Storms, there's so much that we already see this chaos, travel chaos. Okay. So this is about, can you let go of like rigid belief systems that maybe you've come through life or your childhood or religion, and take in new information about how your thinking can be really helpful. Let your communication flow poetically rather than getting caught in small details. Do you want to write some poetry? Do you want to meditate? Third house rules the lungs. So really take extra care of your lungs if you can. Do some breath work. The Artist's Way, it's a book by Julia Cameron that has stuff to help you to connect more to your creativity. I would recommend also considering pulling a tarot card or an oracle card daily, and journaling could be helpful for Capricorns. And think about a mantra. I allow my mind to expand beyond logic, embracing wonder, intuition, and the unknown. Can you think about practical Capricorn? This gives you an opportunity to get more into that water and spiritual energy rather than Capricorn's an earth sign. So it can be very practical and grounded. How can you open yourself up to more spiritual and abstract ways of thinking? For Aquarius, it's on the golden shadows wealth axis, but the North Node is in your second house. Pluto's there too, so you may be like determined to build your wealth or something, increase your savings, things like that. But can you move away from over-analyzing, like things that have to do with shared assets or emotional entanglements? That's where you have Virgo. And try to have a more free-flowing experience of abundance. Like, I woke up today, I can breathe fresh air. My phone's working, my internet's working. This is gold in life. I have eggs right now in the refrigerator, that sort of thing. True prosperity, reframing prosperity to a more spiritual approach. Yeah. Lean into faith over fear when it comes to your finances and personal security. Now, there are people, working for the government, losing their jobs. Can you have faith? You will find the next job that you need. Reframing wealth and what can you do to stretch your resources if you need to? Make coffee at home. Don't get your coffee at your coffee shop or something like that. There are all sorts of things where you do have control, where you can make an impact. Your worth is not measured by what you control, but by the depth of your trust in life. And you can think about, where do you overthink things about money, security, or your self-worth? For Pisces, the mirror and the mask. Pisces, the North Node in your first house, it's an amplifier. This could be your time to shine in some ways. You could be feeling, potentially good about yourself. Now, very important to take care of your vitality at this time, because if you do have some health things, the North Node can just amplify them. But can you shift from perfectionism in relationships or being like overly enmeshed and embrace your more fluid and intuitive self? Let go of micromanaging partnerships, surrendering control, be more in your more compassionate, dreamy state. The ascendant is what our soul is rising up to. This is a time for you to be your best self with this in the high road of Pisces energy. And in relationship, can you state your needs and hold your boundaries rather than overdoing it for other people all the time? over taken care of and whatnot? Can you release the need to control how others see you? Can you protect your energy? Or I protect my energy is a great mantra. Know what's yours versus what's others. And you can think about, how do I perfect myself for others? So those are all the signs. Are there any questions before we go on?
No.
Oh, good. Just some upcoming events. Next weekend is a free World Points Degrees of Significance webinar for Kepler College, where I teach. My transits class starts April 1st. That's a more advanced class. And you can go to astrologybyceleste.com and sign up for that. My lunar planning workshop in Sacramento for people who are local, this is in person, is on the 23rd. And you can get the link from my website to sign up for that. Let me put in the chat. Now I'm going to put for people who want to take astrology foundations with me. Okay. We're going to do this and then we'll get to the charts. But I'm teaching Astrology Foundations is back. This is my course from the ground up. We start from the beginning so that you can learn astrology, learn the basics, how to read a chart, to understand the world around you. This is such a great time because astrology is a calendar. It's a map. It can help us understand what's coming up for ourselves and the collective. Like this week, we have a full moon square Uranus. It's going to be kind of wild. So, we know there's something, things are coming to our awareness. I think financial and communication things that may surprise people. But understanding astrology can help you live more presently and prepare for these things. So it's an 8-week class. You'll have a VIP community and optional assignments. This is the class schedule where you're going to learn about the basics, the signs, the planets, the houses, the aspects, about the moon and what you were born under the moon phase, then how to bring it all together to understand the beginning of how to read charts. By the end of the course, you'll have a clear, confident grasp of the core principles of astrology, be able to begin to synthesize birth charts, and recognize celestial patterns in your own life, those around you, the world, and use it as a tool for self-discovery, growth, and deeper connections. And planning. The bonuses, you get potentially up to over $400 in savings because you get 20% off a course, or excuse me, off a reading, a consultation, or one of my coaching programs where you can buy multiple sessions at a discount. And the first 10 students who sign up for the class will get a free oracle card reading from me, where you can ask me a question, or I can just give you what I see, and then I'll pull a card for you and riff on it. I love doing these. I have so much fun and people love it. So yeah, and I'll record a video and send it to you. That's for the first 10 who sign up. Class starts Thursday, February 27th at 5 p.m. Pacific time. They're all recorded. They're 90 minutes, replays within 24 hours. And you can email me at celeste@astrologybyceleste with any questions. One-time payment, $333, 3 payments, $125 each. These are your choices. If you need any other kind of special arrangements, you can email me. But I'd love for people to join me to learn astrology at this time. It's such a great time to do so. And these are where you can find me. This is my website, astrologybyceleste.com. where you can sign up for my notifications about when I write blogs. I haven't been writing as much because I've just been so busy doing other things. But yeah, you can get all kinds of stuff. My podcast every week helps you navigate the energies of the week like a boss. I was re-listening to this week's and anyone who's listened to it, the Negro spiritual that was in my head, it was go down Moses, way down to Egypt's land. On the podcast, I said Israel's land, but it's about when tell old Pharaoh, let my people go. It's a Negro spiritual where, which was equating the Israelites being really leaving Egypt, get freedom from slavery to freedom from slavery in the US. And Kendrick Lamar is supposed to perform at the Super Bowl, but it could show up in a different way. We'll see how it shows up. Anyway, I'm on all the socials at astrologybyceleste.com. Okay, I want to do readings for people. Does anyone have a question about the class before we get to readings? Okay, it's pretty. Oh, yeah, Melanie took the class. I'm so glad you loved it, Melanie. Yes. And okay, so for readings, I do have some people who I wanted to start with. I know. Angela, I saw you here. Angela, you can come off mute.
There, Candace has her hand raised. I don't know if you have a question.
Candace, do you have a question? You're on mute. Okay, Candace, while you figure out how to get off mute, I am going to do Angela. Okay. So
Hi, I'm off mute. Angela can go first.
oh, I'm doing Angela right now. Okay.
Okay, and then you can do me.
Okay, you can go back on mute. Okay. So Angela is having what we call a nodal reversal. So let's look at, see how Angela's North Node is in her 10th house. So she's meant to be here out in the world. And she probably has with the South Node in her 4th house some kind of family story about boundary issues, maybe, or a parent who, yeah, it could have been a lot of things. But anyway, the South Node is coming to her North Node in a nodal reversal. So this is a big time where you're seeing a mirror. And you mentioned you got divorced last year and you're concerned about being able to maintain your lifestyle. Is that correct?
Yes, I didn't actually get divorced. It's just that my husband walked out on me, and so I'm in a very, I'm still in my home, but what's he gonna want? What's he gonna do? And so I was kind of like a homemaker and just worked for myself, but now I'm trying to get out into the world to make sure that I have finances and so it's very much that home, keeping my home and trying to do new things, trying to just live a new life and figure it out. I'm just at the beginning of figuring it
Oh,
out.
wow. Well, my compassion for going through such a difficult thing. And that was the story of your of the South Node in Libra for you. A relationship had a rupture. And in the moving through your 10th house, it's like that could be a time where people get divorced with the South Node going through, or have like a big marriage type relationship break down. So that makes a lot of sense. And we can see that Pluto's been dancing opposite your moon, which is moon rules relationship. Uranus got within striking distance of your descendant, which is the partner. So it's all the timing. It makes a lot of sense. The one thing I would say, the North Node's in your fourth house, so your energy is concerned about how you can take care of your home, but Saturn is coming down here as well. So I think I wrote to you, I would just, oh, is it February? It's not February 11th, is it? It's the 9th. Oh, but happy birthday. It looks like you're having your solar return right now.
Yeah, my birthday's on Tuesday. So
Yeah, but your solar return is, look at this,
okay.
21,
Oh, okay.
21, 23. Wow. Let me just quickly. Okay. So Libra rising, Venus and Aries at your solar return. Yeah, you're focused on this jerk off who just walked out. Excuse my language. Mm.
Did you how did you describe them so accurately?
Now, Pluto in the fourth house can be a time when uh you move. So just be aware of that.
Okay.
Or maybe it's just like that's what you're dealing with, this plutonic force of feel like you're dragged to hell, kind of where all of this subconscious stuff is coming up about where you are in the collective and your social group. And I mean, it's a lot. And and the battle's public, Moon Mars, it feels like. And
Okay.
you've got, but you've got this Mercury Cazimi energy. I'm giving it Cazimi, or maybe you can find creative solutions to get out of difficulties that, oh, really thinking about outside the box is your friend, I think, with
Okay.
this year. So I'll just pull you a quick card, but you're in that, you're going to learn a lot about yourself as you already have. Oh my God, trust popped out. So trust the process.
Okay.
So I wish you all the best. I just would recommend being realistic about what you can afford and not wearing rose-colored glasses.
No, they fell off last year.
I bet they did. Well,
They broke last year.
they broke. Well, I hope you have a nice support system around you
I
besides.
do.
Okay.
I do. Yeah, very
Okay.
good. And just can I just say that since this happened, I think people see me where they never saw me before because his light was always in front of me. You know, I think I was in his shadow. So that might be about the coming out into the world.
Coming out of the shadow. And yeah, you're a Scorpio
Mm,
rising and Mars retrograde is really revealing and a lot about yourself because Mars rules Scorpio and it rules your fifth house of self-expression. So it's
okay.
like you talking to people and sharing things and they're seeing you in a whole new way and new light and giving you the opportunity of you being you. And the
Oh,
eclipses were the September 17th was of last year was at your IC, and now March 13th is at your midheaven. So be aware of
okay.
what's going on in your life at that time as well.
Okay. Great.
You
Thank
might
you.
find
Thank you
out
so much.
his demands around then.
Yeah. Good.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Hey, Celeste, I'm here.
Oh, Candace, hold on. I had someone I wanted to do Lori.
Okay, sure.
Is Lori, did you join? If so, come on.
Yes, I'm right here.
Okay, Lori. So you've been experiencing depression, right?
Yes, for quite a while.
What's that? Is that many years or?
Yeah, I would say maybe 7 or 8.
7 or 8 years. So 7 or 8 years. 7 years is a Saturn cycle. 8 years is a Venus cycle. So it may be related to one of those planets. Was there any big story about money or self-worth or relationships 7 years ago, or about?
For almost 10 years before that, my husband was very sick. And I think I just got super depleted, and it's been really hard coming back.
Okay. And you have Mercury conjunct the South Node. So maybe his illness in the 7th house of the partner. So maybe his illness triggered thoughts of lack of stability or safety, or what would I do without this relationship kind of stuff that started you on a path that you're having trouble pulling out of. Is he still alive?
Yes,
Okay.
thank goodness.
Does
He's a
that
great
connect?
guy.
Say that again?
He's a great guy.
So
And-
does that connect that maybe his illness just has sent you into a bit of a
Yep.
survival frenzy? You've got Moon in Aries, maybe, and it's King comes Neptune. So the thoughts of being alone, maybe in your subconscious of what you're like overly fearful around. And you have Jupiter in Virgo. So, you go into this, Jupiter expands, and Virgo is the analyzing and just on and on and on. So what's going to happen? You're going to have an eclipse on your Venus, and your Venus retrograde is going to station here. So I think this is just a really good year for you to be doing some, like, trying to get to the root of all of this, and start thinking about, you will be, how you're going to be okay. What are you going to do, if if at some point, we know women live longer in general. But loving every minute that you have with your partner now, I think, is one of the best things you can do, rather than worrying about what could be. I'm going to pull you a quick card. Hold on. I got to blow my nose. Oh, excuse me. Apologies, I've been having allergy issues. Yeah. And how old are you?
67.
67. Yeah, okay. Let me pull your card. So the North Node is going through your 11th house. So that's groups, friends, hopes, and dreams. So can you spend more time with community? Building community might be, or maybe you're focused more on your self-expression.
I'm actually started doing both just in the last few weeks.
Exactly, because it's on the axis of the spark and the collective.
Mm-hmm.
And you're naturally already doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Hooray.
But I pulled the card burden. So can you think about how, as much as you can, put some of your burdens down, and just Pisces, think about the spiritual, about this beautiful love you've had and how it's enriched your life, and being thankful and have gratitude rather than fear of stuff you can't control, is what I would suggest. if like reframing your mind, whether it's meditation or going for walks, like all of this kind of stuff maybe can help you like get out of that panic mode or whatever it is that
Right.
is keeping you so fearful. And it's
Mhm.
all yeah, this Mercury South Node. You can obsess. Taurus is a fixed sign over your fears of insecurity, your fear of him passing on, your fear of whatever that was triggered when he got to it.
Right.
Okay. Well, I hope that helps.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay, Candace, I'll look at your
Uh,
chart real quick.
Yeah. So I was born September 19th, 68 at 2:28 p.m. in the afternoon.
Okay. Yeah, I have you here. So you have all this Virgo energy. This is going through your ninth house. I want you to, did anything big happen last September, Candace?
Yeah, I had a falling out with my dad uh after Christmas, and also I put myself through a personal development course, and I'm finishing the first year, going into the second year starting in August. So I have some pretty big stuff, and I'm also in working on my myself, like working on um recovering my childhood and just looking at life differently and stuff.
Okay, well, Mars rules your dad because you have Aries on the fourth house. You said around Christmas, Mars was retrograde around Christmas, and you had this falling out with your dad.
Yeah,
And
it was after Christmas, like it was around money. So ever since then, our relationship has been di- di- distant. So I guess it my chart says it all, right?
well, yeah, and Neptune goes into Aries on March 30th, so maybe that's when you'll make up
Yeah.
or come to a resolution, but you're taking personal development
Yeah.
and that's a good thing to do with the South Node going through your ninth house because maybe you'll reframe, you think differently, North Node in your third house based on what's going on with your learning. And it's going to bring up some things to your conscious attention about your life. And what a wonderful thing to do. Okay.
It
Sounds
always it always has. And my dad, he's Aries, like his birthday's in April 6th.
so there's going to be an eclipse
Yeah.
right before his birthday. So I want you to, if you can, is he a good
Yeah.
guy?
Yeah, he is. He's just stuck in his ways. Like he was born in the 1940s, so he's got that mentality. He sat and watched TV all day, and I'm just like, how
Okay.
can you do that?
So I pulled the
But
disruption card, and there's this
yeah,
disruption in this relationship. I
yeah,
would recommend that you try to heal this rift.
yeah. That's what I'm working on. So is coming along. Hmm.
Well, maybe when Venus goes retrograde
Yeah,
on, yeah, that'll
in
you'll like
March.
uncover and repair.
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.
To see you.
Nice to see you too. Okay. So Ashley, is there anyone in the chat who's new that you just pick?
Okay, we're just doing random today.
Yeah, just did
So
you you listed everything. Let me how many people wanted reading?
oh no, I'm just doing random.
Okay, yeah, just
Yeah,
pick
I let
someone.
everybody know we were just doing random today because there's just so many.
Yeah, just use your intuition. Let me know.
Okay, we'll start with Erica. Erica from Kirkland, Washington. Are you still on, Erica?
I am. Hi.
And it's Erika, Celeste.
Oh, thank you.
Birth date June 13th, 1995, 6:28 p.m.
Hey, hi Erica.
Hi.
Okay, Kirkland. Why did it come up? I must have spelled it wrong. There it is. Okay, so you're a Scorpio rising too. Okay. You're the third Scorpio rising. It was 6:28 p.m.
Yes.
Okay. Great. Let me look. Jupiter stationed very near your Mercury in your seventh house. Are you in a relationship?
I am. Yeah.
Has there been like anything good or are you married?
I'm not married. It's been really good. It's been the past 2 years and definitely my healthiest relationship.
Yeah, like there's growth. Jupiter's in Gemini, and it feels like there's growth in, well, and also your job potentially.
I
Have
am
you
just, yeah,
oh
I'm just leaving my job and going back to school soon. So there's a lot of
okay.
change there to change my career.
So Jupiter on your Mercury, you're going back to school, your Jupiter educates, Mercury rules things like school, and in Gemini it has to do with learning, and it's what we call station this week's at 11 degrees of Gemini, squaring your Mars at your midheaven. So you made the decision to separate from your job and go back to school right now. That's great. And you're in your second Saturn, not your second, your first Saturn return. And so you've decided to take on more responsibility. Are you moving somewhere to go back to school or no?
I am. I'll be moving from the Seattle area to Santa Fe to go
Yeah,
to
so
school there. Yeah.
Saturn separates and Saturn's in your fourth house. And let's see what else. Yeah. It seems like you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're adding to your skills. So you're taking a step back, South Node in your 10th house, drain from work in order to, and North Node in your fourth house, you're moving and all of this stuff, and you're going to have to find new comfort and new everything in this new place because you're learning. You're going to school. Let me pull a card for you. Let me see if I see anything else I want to say. And you're going to make a new friend group. Like the eclipse is squaring your sun in Gemini. Gemini, like your social circle is going to change.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. What are you studying?
Clinical psychology.
Oh, wonderful. Well, Scorpio rising. Oh, wonderful. If Mercury rules your eighth house, bet you'll be really good at it.
Oh, thank you. I'm excited about it.
Oh, good. And I pulled the card forgiveness. So I don't know if there's any story about, oh, I should have gone straight through school, or I should have done this differently, or I should have done this, that, and the other thing. And there's a call just to You are where you are. You're in the right place at the right time. Can you trust and let go of any self-criticism or what have you? Or if there's a mother story, if there's anything you need to forgive
Oh,
her.
wow. Wow. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming. Ashley?
Next is Linda Simmons.
Okay.
August 1st, 1951. Reedley, Reedley, California. At 1:03 p.m. Sorry, I jumped around.
That's all right. Thank you so much, Ashley, for all your help. Another Scorpio rising. Scorpio risings in the house today. Okay, well, you've got a Virgo stellium and you're in your nodal return. So, this is a big time. So, yeah, what are you letting go of in relation to groups, organizations? Because has there been Linda, are you still here? Was there a story in September? I see you. You're on mute. Can you come off mute, Linda? There you are.
Hi.
Hi, Linda. So there was a solar eclipse.
Hello, I'm here.
Hi, there was a solar eclipse September 17th where the sun was on your Saturn. Was there any story about your children or your self-expression, or does anything come to mind from last September? A big story?
Um,
Work, a friendship?
well, let's just say my relationship with my daughter has negatively intensified about
That's,
this time.
yeah. So what happened back then was there was a lunar eclipse, and lunar eclipses bring full,
Mhm.
really illuminate things. And it was in your fifth house of children
Mhm.
and self-expression, and across your 11th house, which would be her partner or, yeah, whatever, this relationship. So
Mhm.
there was something going on there. March, and it's Saturnian, so it's like it's hardship. It's like it's a difficulty. Maybe separation was involved. And the flip eclipse is happening March 13th, where the sun will be in the fifth house and the moon in now in your 11th house. Now there's a potential, if desired, your moon is conjunct Jupiter, which is the planet of abundance and unites. So I don't know if this is something you want to heal at this time, because maybe that's possible. Mars is retrograde in your, oh, let's look at you. Because right now Mars is retrograde in Cancer, and you've got a lot of Cancer energy.
Mhm. Yeah,
Oh, actually, maybe in 3 months it'll be something coming up where you heal. But and Mars is going to go direct. Oh, very close to your Mars in the ninth house. Do you have any plans to travel or take a class or?
Not that I know of at the moment.
Well, maybe it's about your ways of thinking. Maybe over this time you really delved into things you knew were true, or your bigger picture thinking. And can you bring in more the North Node's in your fifth house? forgiveness, compassion, healthy boundaries. Maybe you needed the healthy boundaries around the child. And on on September 7th, there'll be a lunar eclipse that impacts your Venus. So there's a big story about relationships this year, about the control, criticalness versus the compassion, the forgiveness, the healthy boundaries versus being of service. All of this kind of stuff may be coming up for you this whole year.
Okay.
Hopefully for healing and do you think the relationship is salvageable?
I do, but I also know that she has to initiate it, because if I do it, she just shuts everything down. So I have
Uh,
been waiting for a very long time, and I guess I will continue to wait.
Well, it's in the North Node. You're coming to a nodal return, and maybe during this next 18 months, there's this amplification of hopefully it can bring some forgiveness. But yeah, Pluto's squaring your ascendant and descendant. So a lot of shadows are coming up and intensity, and it's a lot. I pulled the Swan. Transformation, trusting the psychic gifts. So that to me, a period of growth that will be life-changing. You may change so much you don't recognize yourself in the end. This can be going from the ugly duckling stage to the beautiful swan. It's time to honor and love this change within yourself. Dive in, you will love who you become. So maybe you'll be doing a lot of higher level thinking about philosophy and stuff like that, letting go of preconceived notions, moving away from all of this Virgoic energy into more of that Piscean thing. So really think about shadow Virgo, high road Pisces. How can you balance the two? And for your highest good and healing and all of that kind of stuff. So hopefully that's helpful. But it's a growth period with Pluto squaring your ascendant and you getting the Swan card. That's beautiful. To me, it suggests the work you're doing on yourself is really helpful.
Oh, good. I wonder sometimes, but I keep doing it. I've got Scorpio rising, so it's like, you came here to go deep, and you're intense, so you're ready for it, and you go for it. And if you're not doing it, why did you come here?
Absolutely, I love that. That's exactly that's the right attitude, I think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Ashley, let's do one more.
One more, I have Misha Stinson.
Okay, and one last thing, Linda. Your progressed ascendant is moving into the sign of Capricorn. So, are you already retired or?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So it's just a good time, and your progressed moon is in your 6th house, just to get a good checkup, make sure everything's okay.
Yeah.
Because when your ascendant changes signs, like your knees, I don't know if you have any issues with your knees or anything like that. To be extra protective.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Ashley, sorry about that.
That's okay. I have Misha, Misha. Last name Stinson.
Oh,
Stinson,
okay.
yes.
And,
December 26th, 1989.
and where?
10:14 a.m.
Okay.
McKeesport, MC capital KEESPORT, Pennsylvania, PA, I think.
Okay.
And you can come off mute, Misha, if you're here still.
I'm here.
Hi, Misha.
Hi, Celeste. Thank you, Ashley.
How are you today? I'm looking
I'm
at.
doing well. I can't complain.
Well, the full moon this week, it could be really interesting for you because you're an Aquarius rising and it's a full moon in Leo.
Yeah.
So just be mindful. Are you married or?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay. Some stuff may come up. Are you single?
I am single.
Ah, Uranus is squaring Uranus. You could meet someone new at some
Okay.
point.
I'm open to that.
Okay. Yeah. Really think about what you want out of a relationship. Some things may really be illuminated to you about how you are in relationship.
Okay.
Uranus right now is trying your Mercury. The sun rules your and your the eclipse on March 29th is going to square your Neptune. If you have friends, tell them you're interested. Somebody may introduce you to someone. The eclipse squares your Neptune and your 11th house, or a friend may become a lover or something like that.
Okay.
Possible. The North Node going through. Well, you've got Pisces and Virgo in your first house and seventh house. So yeah, somebody could be coming in, but I think the message is to keep your eyes open. That's what I'm.
Okay.
Keep your eyes open. You can change your life with a hello and your smile. You're having a Jupiter return in June. Jupiter is the planet of abundance. Your dance card may be full around them. Do you have kids?
No, I don't have any kids.
Okay, well, when Jupiter is going to be in Cancer from June through the following June, so you want to be extra mindful that that's just a time people can be more fertile. How old are you?
I'm 35.
Okay, this is a time you can be more fertile, so just keep that in mind if you don't want
Okay.
them. Yes. Careful.
Okay.
Let me pull you a card. Ooh, I pulled the eagle. So if you see an eagle, it might be a sign like, oh, maybe they're around the corner. So let me pay attention, not look down. Let me look ahead. Maybe
Okay.
if you see someone, smile, say hello. It says spirit, integrity, connection to angelic realm. So if you see an eagle, maybe it's your spirit animal.
Okay. That sounds good.
With the angels' help and guidance, you can soar above to see the larger vista. This helps you make your choices accordingly with integrity. When you pray to your angels, they will always answer. Look at the big picture. Like if you meet someone, look at the big picture. Yeah. But joy is underneath. So I want you to ask, believe, receive with this full moon. Like your list about what you want. It's okay. There's no rush. There are all these retrogrades. You might want to wait till a few months before you meet someone. But a whole new world's coming through, and there could be some exciting things for you.
Okay. Thank you.
I like those two cards.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. So, maybe the Eagles will win today, Lara.
Yep, that's what I got from that card.
Thank you, Melissa, for your kind words. And what do you, okay. Oh, I use Solar Fire for the charts, and on my website, on my shop, there's a discount for Solar Fire, as well as I have, if you go to YouTube, I have a video that shows you how to use Solar Fire. I love it, but it takes a little. Oh, great, Gretchen! I can't wait to meet you in class. Wonderful. Yes. Hey, Colvin, nice to see everyone. Okay. I'm going to be going, but I'm sorry I couldn't do more readings, but hopefully you got something from the workshop that will help you navigate this time. I think we're going to be okay. I mean, it's a tough, I mean, the world's in a tough time with all of this change, but just, I'm going to have faith. The collective Pluto's in Aquarius, although we may feel like there's a lot of pushing us down a path we don't like, we have agency to band together and make change and do some stuff, and we're all here for a reason. Okay, everyone, you take good care. Hope to see you again, or on Instagram, or I'm gonna do more on YouTube and all sorts of stuff going forward. And yeah, take good care. I'll send the recording out. I'll try to do it later today. If not, it'll be tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you,
Bye. Thank
Ashley.
you. Thanks, Ashley.